Wow, just wow. Yesterday, last night, 17 hours ago, we made this video. Matt Rempe is becoming a huge problem, and not in a good way. We had a conversation about Rempe and the hit on Jonas Siegenthaler, the elbow, the high chicken wing in last night's Devils and Rangers game, and it was a pretty hot topic. A lot of y'all were debating in the comments. I didn't reply to any of these because it was just an absolute fire fest. Everybody going out there with the takes left and right. But I said it in the video that Matt Rempe is becoming a problem. He is becoming dangerous. He is becoming problematic in the NHL. And it turns out that the NHL Player Safety Department seems to agree. Because Matt Rempe has been suspended for 4 games for elbowing New Jersey's Jonas Siegenthaler. Oh my goodness. Look, dude, Rempe is a rookie. We know that he is a young guy. He's in the league. He's pretty much breaking onto the scene. 21 years old. We know he's a big guy. 6th-round pick by the Rangers 4 years ago. Honestly, the fact that any form of a 6th-round pick is even in the NHL in the first place is kind of a miracle. Let alone the fact that he's a big dude who doesn't really produce any points, even in the WHL. I mean, his point production was okay, but not really anything to write home about. He went to the AJHL during the COVID season as well, which kind of indicates just his overall crazy up and down development path. But eventually finding himself in Hartford, he played some games, he got some points, and then got called up and has been causing a ruckus ever since. So for Matt Rempe, very, very crazy story of a 6th-round pick to make the NHL, but the fact is, this rookie, who's only played 10 games, has been suspended for 4. It's kind of nuts, because when you think about Rempe, like, he's played 10 games, yes. He's got 54 penalty minutes in those 10 games. A lot of these are from fighting majors, a lot of these are from, other majors, like elbowing guys. He's gotten game misconducts, like, he's been probably the biggest crap disturber the NHL has seen in years, and the NHL Player Safety Department is really giving the hammer down on Rempe. Now, some replies over to this tweet by the NHL's Players Safety Twitter account. I mean, you've got the Metro Division right now, the Seth Rollins laughing video. Kinda steep, I was expecting 2. He should be suspended for the rest of the season. Free him, I think it's fair. 2 games is too much. He deserved, he was getting out of control. The way I see this entire thing go down, obviously, we're not watching the NHL player safety video, but from my perspective, seeing somebody come into the NHL and be such an impactful player in this way, look, there was gonna be a time in the future that the NHL had to step in and try to police what it was that Rempe has been trying to do, and that's what they're doing here. Rempe doesn't really provide much value outside of the physical side of the game. You want to talk about the intimidation factor, the physical factor, sure, he's all in there, but realistically, Rempe doesn't necessarily make the Rangers a better hockey team. He just goes out there and makes the opponent's lives a lot worse, which you could debate is valuable in and of itself, but at what point does that stop? We talked about this and more in the video yesterday, but hey, Matt Rempe is playing in a way that is dangerous to himself. He's getting black eyes in the first few minutes of his time on ice in the NHL. He's getting more penalties than he's getting ice time, and now he's getting suspended for half the amount of gosh darn games that he's played in the league. He's got 10 total games played, and now the suspension comes in, giving him the hammer for 4. Matt Rempe has been a dangerous player the past few weeks here, and at this point the NHL is doing their part in making sure that it doesn't get too out of hand. Now, whether or not this means that Rempe will dial his game back, or he'll return and start playing a less dangerous game, who really knows? This is kind of the thing we had talked about yesterday too, that for Rempe, it's almost like everybody involved here knows that he's not really too much of a point-producing, top-tier goal scorer guy, whatever. That's not his role, right? But he knows what he needs to do to stay in this lineup. They're not keeping him in the lineup because, as we had said, he makes the Rangers better. They're keeping him in the lineup because he makes their opponents worse. And because the Rangers acknowledge that, because Rempe is playing into that role, it's like, wrestling. He has a very particular role. He's a very particular gear in the cog that the New York Rangers machine brings out onto the ice, and he does his role well. He's not going out there trying to score goals. He's not going out there trying to make great plays. He's just going out there trying to hit people, fight people, and get himself hurt in the process with the black eyes and everything. Like, this is the third video we've made about Matt Rempe already, and the first two were all along the lines of, Rempe, you gotta be careful, dude. Not just for the other people that you're chicken winging and hitting into the boards and boarding and elbowing up high, but for yourself as well. Rempe is a 21-year-old dude. He's still young. He's got a long life ahead of him. So, seeing this entire thing go down, I mean, look, you can debate as to whether or not a 4-game suspension is enough to get this message sent, but at the end of the day, this will send ripples throughout the NHL, especially when you consider the fact that other players have been suspended for way less, for doing way worse. It's been kind of weird that, like, this seems to be the first real big hammer that the NHL has handed out. Like, you could debate the Morgan Rielly suspension earlier on was also a big hammer, going after the Ridley Gregg slap shot onto the empty net, but that was for a guy in Rielly who has played a long time, and then the appeal went out there. The conclusion was that they are kind of lucky it wasn't more for the suspension because Rielly has had a long tenure of good play. For Matt Rempe, he's had a very short tenure of bad play, and only physical, dominating, dangerous bad play that, look, I guess that's where the NHL is going to go with this. And now there's a lot more replies, conversations. Oh, Siegenthaler has to have his head up. Are you serious? 4 games. 4 games for a first-time offender on an accidental elbow is too much. 2 games, sure. 4 is too much considering what others have gotten for blatant open ice hits and repeat offenders. Rempe, first-time offender, gets 4 games. Gallagher, multi-time offender, gets 5 games. What's the difference between Gallagher's 5 games and then everybody's talking about all the other ones too? You can talk about David Perron. You can talk about the Tom Wilsons of the world. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below as to Matt Rempe getting suspended for 4 games for elbowing New Jersey's Jonas Siegenthaler. This is a follow-up to everything we had talked about yesterday. Matt Rempe, I'll still stand by my opinion. I think that he's becoming a problem in this league, and not in a good way. Not just for the opposition, but for him himself. Like, look, dude, this is not the 1990s or the 80s or the 70s anymore. And a lot of those guys who were involved in that era of hockey where they would fight over and over and over again, a lot of these guys had brain damage and issues with their lives long term. Nowadays, we're aware of this. So seeing a guy go out there and continually punish not only his opposition, but himself, his face, his head, he's getting whacked out there over and over again. Was this the message that needed to be sent? I already said my piece. You're very free to go out there and disagree in the comment section below. That's what the comments are for anyway. I'm not going to get ticked off if anybody disagrees. That's just kind of the nature of life, right? We all have different opinions, so I want you to let me know yours in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.